Hi everyone, I'm Patrick.
And I'm Michael, and you're watching another episode. Wait. Hi everybody, I'm Patrick.
And I'm Michael. You're watching another episode of Star Wars News and Views. So if you remember from that's probably been about a month now, the Vanity Fair photo shoot was sort of put online. But when they actually published the physical, the physical hard copy of the magazine, there was other stuff that they didn't include in the online release. And one of them was more details about Andy Serkis's character. And so there's another even more noteworthy thing, but one noteworthy aspect is that they give his character's name. And his name is Supreme Leader Snoke. So that's a pretty, fancy title.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I was called Supreme Leader at my job.
Supreme Leader, yeah. King Jong-un is the Supreme Leader, for Christ's sakes. Personally, my feeling is that maybe he's playing the new head of the Empire.
Yeah, and it would make sense to get a big name like Andy Serkis to kind of take over that role and sort of...
You're not going to give it to some, bit player. That's kind of a big deal. They can't really call him the Emperor because... Yeah. The Emperor, he was the Emperor.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in real life, maybe you could take on that mantle, but, I think just because it's an iconic character, they don't want to have a new The Emperor.
Yeah.
So he's Supreme Leader. And even the Empire is said to be called the New Order or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's good that they're kind of keeping that continuity, but changing the terminology just a bit.
Yeah, and plus we don't know any, leader of the Empire right now. We haven't heard of any other actors that could fit the role other than Andy Serkis at this point. And another interesting thing is that this picture of him from Vanity Fair by Annie Leibovitz is him sitting in a throne, but he's got mocap going on his face, which is kind of interesting because he said before when people had asked him you're in Star Wars, how many roles are you playing? You're doing
There was a rumor that he was playing two roles. One was as himself, flesh and blood, and the other was a motion capture character.
Yeah, and he debunked that rumor. He went up and said, "Oh no, guys, I'm only playing one character, and it's me. There's no mocap at all. It's just me. I'm just playing myself." Which I don't know. Did he lie to us? Is he doing this mocap? Is he only have this one role that's just maybe a mocap alien that looks kind of like him, but it's actually going to be an alien? Yeah. But then that means he would have lied to us about it, or
blatantly.
Yeah.
So I think most people who are reporting on that are saying oh my God, Andy Serkis was trying to throw us off. He lied. He's totally this is motion capture. He's wearing a full motion capture suit. It's a photograph. It's officially released.
Yeah.
It's clearly him. It's clearly real. So here's something to consider, though. If you look at the photo, yes, he is wearing a full bodysuit, but most of it's centered around his face, right? And the thing is, CG doubles for stunts and crazy CG scenes, those are common. If you're part of a huge blockbuster, special effects heavy sci-fi franchise, it's very common to go to the motion capture studio for a couple of days. They scan your face, and notice there's all these cameras surrounding his face. You make expressions, and it captures your face, and then they map it to a CG a stunt double, basically.
Yeah.
And they'll even do full body suits to get your movements because, actors have distinctive ways of walking or moving, and they want to know not what the animator thinks Andy Serkis would do. They want to know what Andy Serkis would actually move in this sequence.
Yeah.
So, even just the best example that comes to mind is the Matrix sequels. Keanu Reeves spent weeks in the motion capture studio because there's a lot of CG doubles for when he's doing crazy action scenes, and they want to get his facial features and his expressions. Same with
even though he played himself in the movie, there's no other CG thing.
Yeah, and same with Hugo weaving. It's common in these big movies to have parts of the shoot where they have to go into the studio for motion capture.
Yeah.
They're not playing a CG character, but they need a CG. At some point in the movie, they're replaced with a CG double for a split second.
Yeah, and also because he's the Supreme Leader character, maybe he's got holograms of himself somewhere or something like that, a big screen with his face on it, and
who knows?
Maybe they have to do mocap just for that kind of thing inside the continuity where he just still looks like himself.
Yeah.
However, the one thing to kind of go back into maybe him actually being sort of an alien character is that we haven't really I haven't heard any reports of him being on set or anything like that.
That's
so it seems like a lot of the stuff that was shot away from every other character. So maybe he is just some mocap character they're putting in. Not really sure.
Well, you always see photos of even just leaked photos of a lot of the actors on the set But I've not heard anything about Andy Serkis scenes being filmed.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I've also never heard anything about Max von Sydow's character either. And I know he's not really that famous anymore. Like, I mean, among film buffs, everyone that's into film history knows him. But, like, he's not a pop cultural guy right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. So there you go. I don't know. Do you think Andy Serkis was lying about that? Do you think it's more that he was telling the truth and that this is just sort of part of the process of making these big blockbusters? Is that you gotta get your face scanned, you gotta do a little bit of motion capture?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's a 50-50 chance either way.
Yeah, and if any character I think needed like a mocap, it would probably be the Supreme Leader character. Yeah, and another thing to note is that if you have Andy Serkis, it makes sense to use him for mocap because he's the mocap king, really.
If you have a mocap character,
yeah,
and
it also kind of makes sense too for his character, this like Supreme Leader Emperor character, to sort of have maybe holograms of himself or any sort of thing. It seems like he would be one of the more likely candidates to have or need mocap in the movie.
The one thing I will add though, as a final thought, as a sort of counterpoint to the whole, like, maybe he's a weird alien distorted human, even if he's like humanoid, is like a distorted version. The one part of Star Wars lore, and this is not in the movies, it sort of is by indirectly, but in the old expanded universe, it's spelled out, which is no longer canon, but that the Empire is racist towards non-human aliens. So if you look, the Rebel Alliance, you have like Admiral Akbar and Nien and all these characters that are like weird alien kind of people, and then the Empire's 100% human, and mostly English because they have that imperial old-timey sort of feeling. But it's part of a large part of the sort of lore of Star Wars that the Empire is racist towards non-human aliens. That's why they enslave the Wookiees and stuff like that. So that does give a bit of credence to the fact that he's not playing a CG alien character. He's playing a human character played by himself, and he's just in the studio for like facial capture for some CG replacement. Just as something to think about as a final thought. For what it's worth.
But let us know what you guys think. What type of character you think he's going to be playing in the comments, and we'll see you next time.